kind and not to other people, be kind to yourself. I think that's the worst. When you're able to actually, you know, like yourself and be kind to yourself, you can be kind to other people.
Hey, David, glad to have you with me today.
Spencer, honored, very honored to listen to you guys a lot, and I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And we'll kind of get into what we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but yeah, it's awesome. I think when the opportunity comes up to have somebody that's listened to the show, but then also come on the show, so you kind of know what to expect here. You probably even know the last segment, and you're prepared for all those curveballs that I'll throw you. But I guess how did you originally get connected with Builder Funnel or find out about us and that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like any business owner and somebody that's growing a business, you're wearing all types of hats, and you're trying to do as much research as you can and learn as much. You got to learn quicker than everything around you, so that you actually stay in business. And podcasts and kind of figuring out marketing was one of the big things, doing a lot of Google searches. And what kind of started me off was actually Gary V's podcast, and the
Mm,
where he kind of maybe he's a big influencer in that way of the marketing and where it's going and bringing value, right? As a marketing as companies need to bring value first on for marketing. And next thing I know, I've Googled, I needed a CRM, I needed HubSpot. We'll throw it out. They're a huge company. So but and your blog popped up, and I was like, here it is. Like, this company gets it. Like, give out the value, help people. And in the meantime, you're also showing, your guys' expertise. So I kind of I sign up because I'm like, and then I'm jumping on your podcast and listening to that. And then you guys were really practicing what you preached, where you had that great inbound, email campaign that kind of explained what you guys were about. And then, of course, I already bought into, the value side of things, and I think, once you get to a certain point in business, you really need to know, um, you actually start getting passionate, and you want to do good things in the world. And so that I kind of, it meshed in that way.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, once you're drinking the Gary V Kool-Aid, it's like you're on board with content marketing and value
Yeah.
driven marketing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I don't know, the more I talk to people, they get kind of turned on to that style of marketing versus just traditional like ads and blasting stuff out there. uh, it just lines up with a lot of people in just the way they want to give back, or the way they want to contribute, or core values, or any of those types of things. So you're going, gosh, one, I can do marketing by helping other people with content, and it's also going to expand my brand and my thought leadership and all these other positive things. Like, hey, I'm on board. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. um,
And I think, showing them exactly what goes into it and showing your expertise. Most of the time, maybe some of the guys that aren't even in the remodeling, I try to give as much, I do these 1 minute videos. I get made fun of, but I just put stuff out because people will realize how much time and effort you've put into this, and your expertise. And maybe they'll take some stuff and do it for themselves. But when they realize it's bigger than they can do, they're going to call you,
yep.
so it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Well, David, take us back a little bit. Just maybe share with everyone a little bit about your business. And I'm always curious too. Just why did you start the business and how'd you get into it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's when you think about that question and you think back, and you're like, oh geez, I'm getting pretty old, because it's been quite the journey. But I think it wasn't, growing up, it really wasn't an option. It was growing up lower middle class. We had friends that were contractors, and I was a contractor, and I started at like 14, 15 picking up shingles. And I think back then it was like $3 an hour, or they were probably, they were
Making
probably,
bank, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, and that's kind of your options, right, in life. And so you're just like, okay, let's do this. And you just get better. And I went to trade school thinking, hey, if I'm going to be a carpenter, let me be a carpenter. And then joined the military because I wanted to get, a bit, realized maybe there was a bit more, see the world. And ended up doing a couple tours in Iraq. And in 2008, coming back from my second tour, and that's when the economy had crashed for the housing. And there was really no building and remodeling. So I had the GI Bill, and that paid through college. So I got my business management degree. And in 2012, I'm looking at the industry, and I had the option of going into corporate. And it was just like, ah, sitting in a cubicle. I don't know.
Wasn't calling to you?
It wasn't called to me. I'm like, hey, I got all this experience of construction, and maybe let me start my own company. um and it's kind of just gone from there. And you kind of just start out. It was me in a van, and I had those those magnets on the side, and you're driving around, and then you're like, my back hurts, I can't be doing this anymore. So you get the labor, and then you project manage, and you sell, and you keep. At that point, it was how I have to consume so much, and it's books, it's podcasts to learn, and just continually. So you basically, your full-time job is to learn how to build a business. And it's been quite the ride. It's been quite the if you want personal development, start a business because it
Yeah,
forces
man, I
you.
would
It's
agree with that.
it's tied to your checking account. So you gotta learn how to stress management. You have to, be a good person. Like, you have to be able to manage people, leadership, all of that stuff. So it's like I'm at the buffet. I'm trying to
It's
trying
a
to eat.
real world MBA that you should pick up. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's so true. And some of it you're just forced into that learning, and then if you be a little more proactive, you're like, oh, okay, this whole leadership thing, I guess I better read up on this,
Yeah,
and get
exactly.
after it. So where is the business today? Like, what kinds of projects are you guys doing, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we have a team of 8. We're almost on track to do, you know, with your help, Spencer, we're gonna we're gonna hit our 6 million um, in sales this year. So with a typical ticket about 65,000, which is kind of a kitchen plus. It's usually
Hmm.
that wall taken down, that open concept, which, by the way, is coming back around because people are stuck in home with COVID. They're like, we don't want the open concept anymore. We need some privacy.
Oh
Um,
man, perfect for remodelers. Great, we just opened up all these kitchens,
right.
close them back down.
Exactly, exactly. So, we've got a good remodeling is tough. So, our concentration is a lot of for training and stuff. But we got a good sales team. We've got a good project managers and production. And we've got a lot of good subcontractors. We do outsource our labor, um, because what we've really seen in the industry is the specialization of each trade is really getting their own set of tools. I mean, you think about like a tile shower, those systems, it's like you need to take a class, and you need to be really good at it. And it's so you really need to have one person just doing showers and just doing tile work. So I think the industry is kind of moving away from that. Back in the day, it was like the carpenter, just
Yeah.
started out and did the foundation, went all the way, and was, putting the flowers in at the end, but not anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's funny as you were saying that, it got me thinking it's kind of like, the business owner trying to be good at every single thing, and it's
Yeah.
you realize, oh, I need to hire someone that's really good at this thing, and and outsource or delegate that. So I like that. You kind of hinted at it. We are working together. We've been working together for a little bit now, and you're chasing down the 6 million. I'm always curious, what's your vision? You said you started this what in 2012, 2013-ish, around there. What do the next 8-ish years look like?
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest with you, it's kind of hard because when you look back, I would never believed I was going to be where I'm at. I think most people don't realize how, in control you are of what you can do. Like the possibilities of yourself. I think people just don't believe in, we don't believe in ourselves. So sometimes I really, sit back and say, am I even going too low? Like, and in some ways, I'm just like, every day, I'm going to wake up and be my best and do my best. And let's see where it is. Cause it is kind of about the journey. But what I obviously, there's always those, I want to get there, you
Yep.
know, um, I think there's a huge need, and part of this is I'll throw out Simon Sinek's "Start with Why." That book was really good. I like that one. Where you really have to, what are we doing this for, and why, and can we part of my goal is to elevate the industry. I think contracting in general or the trades in general have almost been poo-pooed for years, right? Like
Hmm.
they were always stereotypically in the movies, like the plumber with his pants halfway down, like all that stuff was very negative. And I think most people went to college. But the reality is trades are really needed and we need
Hmm.
to elevate the industry in general. I think we have people I think we meet people that just don't want to remodel because they're scared. They just don't. They hear the
Interesting.
horror stories where the contractor comes in and rips out the kitchen, takes the deposit, and leaves,
Yep.
or
See you
doesn't.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, or doesn't show up for months. Like people are nervous, and I think we need to bring the right tools into the industry. I think technology is helping that, but elevate it in general, make it a good, you know, living wage, get talented people involved, bring a standard. It's a very fragmented um business or industry. Like it's just all very very small companies all around and nobody is set the standard. It's probably similar in marketing, I would imagine, where it's there's not really a good baseline of expectations for somebody. Like when you go buy a car, there's an expectation that it's going to be safe, that it's going to drive, and it's going to do it. And it's a certain price point. You can't go
Hmm.
buy a brand new car for 5 grand. You know, so I am trying to build a scalable company that, I'm already thinking about the tri state area of New England, building it into that where we can create our systems and, you know, all of our that we're able to scale out and give the tools to other contractors to be able to run actual contracting business that it's extremely consistent so everybody can call at the same different times to get exactly the same experience, on budget, on schedule, educated too, which is huge, right? it,
Yeah.
it's we were big educators. Like our project managers come in and they need to really, people might remodel once in their life. Why would they know anything? Like we need to explain it to them. So um I've got big plans. I hope, I think the focus is to help and to help everybody around. And the more value I can bring to the client, I know that, you know, that will, will expand. If we do well, we'll continue to grow.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And I love hearing you talk about kind of the standard, and you talked about kind of the guys that'll cut and run. My wife sees that. She worked in the economic crimes division at the DA's office for a while, and she said so many times it was, builder, remodeler, take a deposit and run, and that was the case. It's like, oh gosh, like, yeah, we need to we need to change that from the standard that people think about with contractors or, remodeling companies. And, here at Builder Funnel, it's interesting you mentioned the marketing is maybe similar. I mean, somebody starts here, they go through a whole intensive, training process with us. It's all recorded online, like step by step, like this is the Builder Funnel way. And I'd imagine you're kind of thinking about different things for you in that regard. Like, how do you bring somebody in and kind of show them like this is a great trade, this is a great career path, like here's a training path with this company. So I don't know, is that kind of some similar things that you're thinking about, or?
Yeah, so we're in the hiring. We're hiring two more sales and two project managers right now. So we've tried everything. We're kind of split testing. What do we target, right? So there is the typical contractor out there that might want to um, come on board, and their experience is very valuable. But we found that kind of going across market, like going into different markets, so finding somebody that has maybe project management experience or sales experience in similar industries, but having the core values, and then we're training, and we're really trying to get our training more automated. I've spent hours and hours building all our manuals and stuff, so we have a good manual. But getting that, I've already started thinking about recording a lot of this stuff, because
That's the
it's
way
like,
to
have
go.
you
Yeah.
read it? Have you read it? No, we haven't read it. Well, at least, sit down and watch this. But yeah, it is interesting. We've had really, our last project management manager that we hired was an engineer and didn't have any remodeling experience. And we're sitting there like, is this a good idea? And he's doing great. Like,
That's
we're
awesome.
giving him all the right tools, and he's very organized, and so I think there is, um, it's tough. It's not like in a lot of other industries that there's so many other companies out there you can just go poach, right? And
Yep.
just be like, here, come in, and they already have that skill set. Um, Interesting though. It's probably my biggest focus, because s- also personal development for the team too,
Hmm.
bringing in, we're on Slack, which is cool. So we have all these different channels, and now we just put a new channel in called a town hall, and it's just like whatever people want to know about, they can go in and vote, and then I'll try to put, or one of the leadership team will try to put together a like little class. And we did, actually today, this morning, I did stuff on heating systems, because it was just like, what's going on with heating systems? Sales needs to know a little bit, and project management needs. So,
I love
um,
that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool. Yeah, we've been on Slack for a while too, and we have a similar channel. We call ours just the knowledge channel. And if somebody comes across like a new article or whatever, and they're dropping that in there, so you kind of get that like collective knowledge sharing. And then we do a jam session every other Monday, which is we jam out over marketing. And so somebody will bring a topic, they'll do a little lesson, and everyone
yeah,
else is learning along with them. And I think I don't know, I'm glad you started out that way with kind of talking about knowledge and personal development, because I feel like everything kind of starts there, and then it's into the details of, oh, I'm a contracting business, or
yeah,
I'm in this position. So the other thing that you talked a lot about is just like adding value into the world, and kind of education marketing. And I know you just wrote a book, so I'd love to hear a couple of things. One, what's it called, what's the title, but then why the heck did you write a book?
yeah. I put it here because I knew we were doing it. I'll give it a little
Nice.
shot.
Oh yeah.
So it's find home contracting, finding, fixing, and funding your dream home, or investment property. And honestly, I didn't write it. I didn't write it for, I'm a nobody, so I'm not going to get the book sales. But I think that gives a lot of value, and it brings credibility. Is for the first thing. But what it's about is, what really got our business going was these lender finance renovations. And it was in the beginning of building the business. I read a book and it was like, you have to network. And the worst thing, total introvert, shy, would go live in a cabin by himself if I could. I went and did this networking event, and somebody felt bad for me because I was like sitting in the corner, drinking, trying to drink beer so I'd feel okay. And she came over and says, I'd like to, like to chat with you. And next thing, she called me the next week and she said, I have this FHA 203K. She was a realtor.
Mm.
And would you be interested in it? And at that time, I was like, you're when you're young like that, you're like, yeah, little did I know.
Sure.
Yeah. So I got involved in this, and basically what it is FHA. It's the Federal Housing Administration. That they're one of the big mortgage holders. So is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They have a renovation loan, and when somebody buys a property or a house, they can roll in the renovation costs. Most people don't even know about this. They can roll the renovation cost into their mortgage. So, in Connecticut, 90% of houses are 30 years or older, and there's not a
Mhm.
lot of land at all. So most properties need work. Nobody has 40 or $50,000 to put in that new kitchen or bathroom, or, needs the roof or windows.
And
And
that's a
this,
whole problem in and of itself that we could go down a tangent
yeah,
on. But yes, you're right. Like nobody just is sitting on that.
right. So this was, you buy the house, and for a couple more $100 more a month, you're able to roll in that renovation cost. So that's kind of what we specialized in. And before you know it, there's a HUD consultant involved, and it really got our business going because he's like, I was straight out of college, so I had that paperwork type of, I'll do it. Most
Yeah.
contractors, they're operating on a napkin. They're like, I'm not doing any paperwork. Um, so next thing you know, I've you know really got a lot of experience in these loans. And we don't, it has nothing to do with us. It's a standard government backed, so any mortgage broker care, most mortgage broker cards, we're not affiliated with anybody. So I wrote the book, and it's more of a step by step how to renovate your house for really the cheapest and the most efficient way, using basically government backed money,
Hmm.
just like you would get a mortgage. um, and I really enjoyed doing it. And I think when you get, there's a certain point in the business, like I said, it kind of, we were talking about earlier, it opens up and you think about, what am I here to serve? How am I here to serve in any way? Like what am I here put on this planet for? And I think that changes over time. But at the time, I was like, I do have a knowledge on this. We are the company in the state of Connecticut that is, number one for doing this stuff. So by
Yeah.
our stats, by our
Yeah.
stats. No, I don't, there's no one official.
Yeah.
There's no, it's
Yeah.
not official. But
No
so the
worries. Yeah.
the book is great. It's more of a, we're gonna use it on for marketing, probably give it away for free, or maybe sell, put it on for shipping and handling. But it's a really good guide to use these loans, and then how to pick a contractor, and how to, like, what you should look for in budgets, and how you should look for, like, what the contract should look like, what should be included in it, um how to, like, vet companies. I think people are like, in any way, like, how do you vet a company that you're about to do business with? And
Yeah.
this isn't like, you're not buying something at the dollar store here that you can just throw out if you don't like.
Yeah. You're not
This
gonna
is,
go buy another one the next week.
yeah, exactly. You're not going to go buy another edition after you're done. It's,
Yeah, that's cool. And it's interesting too because I remember when you and I first connected and you were telling me about this loan, I'm going, "Holy cow, like this is a great opportunity." And you said, it's not like it's your loan and all that, but I mean, maybe talk and share a little bit about how you use it to network and like get connected in with business because I would imagine realtors maybe don't know about this or and so you're kind of having to lead the way in education, but then it opens up all these doors.
Yeah, so the education is the biggest thing. The loans have been around for a while, but it's difficult. It's government, right? So it's lots
Yeah.
of paperwork and
Yeah.
a lot
Say
of
no
red.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of red tape, but it's such a great solution. Based, because the biggest thing is people don't renovate because they don't have the money and they're scared. But it takes away the money thing. For realtors, it makes so much sense because they can be, they're schlepping their their customers all over town trying to find that perfect house. It doesn't exist in Connecticut. So instead, just find that right house in the right neighborhood, with the right floor plan. And what's great about this is before they actually move in, we can renovate.
That's awesome.
It's a huge part. Yeah, because if you've been a part of renovation, it is. I don't. We're really good at what we do, but it's still disruptive. I mean, we're bringing the bottle of wine halfway through because we know the customer needs it, especially if it's a kitchen and bathroom. They're living in everything's plasticed off, and people are in their house, and they're
Yeah.
washing their dishes in their tub. I mean, no one likes
Ordering
that.
food every night.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. No one's happy. At the end, most people are, but
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity and probably for anyone that, didn't know about this, like worth checking into. And
yeah.
obviously you can pick up a copy of the book and get kind of the fast track on the knowledge there. But I kind of want to, well, one, where's the best place to get it if somebody wants to just go grab the book?
Yeah, so it's going to be on where all books are sold. So it is on Amazon Kindle. It's a quick read. It's 95 pages. It's going to be on our website at finehomecontracting.com. Check us out on social media. There'll be links for that too. I'll be really honest. We don't have all the links yet. I just got my copy like yesterday, and I'm like, oh
Oh, that's
sweet.
awesome. Congrats. Yeah, that's
Um,
super cool. No, we'll put all the links in the show notes once those go live. And yeah, I mean, I remembered that initial conversation with you. I'm going, holy cow, this is actually a really big opportunity, I think, for a lot of people because it's not utilized that often, at least from my perspective or what I can see. And
yeah,
if you make those, inroads and relationships, you can get into a lot of work.
yeah.
So let's dive into the. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was going to say we do lunch and learns. We're kind of putting
Mm,
together some webinars for realtors because it's helpful. And honestly, there is so much work out there. We really even try to help other contractors for them to know because it's the bank will pay the right amount. I think the poor contractors, they get in, they need the work, they say yes to those customers that beat them up for the price,
yeah,
and then what happens is like they get halfway through, these guys don't even know they're losing money. And a lot of times it's a significant other that's actually funding the household, and they're kind of out there losing money. So we try to say, hey, listen, this is good. There's a HUD consultant involved in this that reviews it, the bank reviews it and makes sure the pricing is right.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good thing for everybody.
So before we get into some of the other ways that you're maybe going to market it and that sort of thing, how long did it take to write? Like, what was the writing process like? I just released my book in January, so I know like what a bear of a project it is. But I'm curious, like, what that experience was like for you.
So I think we were 6 or 7 months. It's really been it's been really easy because I kind of feel like I'm cheating sometimes because it's less like it's just what's in my head. I already know, like it's just the process step
It's
by
not
step.
science fiction, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not having to like, connect different characters and, have a huge like, storyboard of what's going on in it. So it's more of like very practical knowledge. So it was, I mapped it out from start to finish, how this goes about. And it was, we have a lot of data in the company. We have a lot of handouts that I could really almost pull from. And then obviously we hired a company that helped put it all together and you know organized it and made sure that I wasn't, I was spelling properly and, the sentences made sense and, all of that stuff. And really cool. Like it's not, I mean, you've done it, you've done it too, but like now with technology and stuff, it's not like a huge, it's easier than I think people realize. And I never, I would say a lot of people have things to offer. And if they think they should write something. I mean, it's, get it out there. Everybody needs you could just be telling it something a little bit differently than somebody else and it clicks with somebody. So I think people, don't give themselves enough credit.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, we all have that like expertise of our domain. And like you said, people are going to remodel maybe once, twice at most in their lives, and you do how many projects a month? Like you just know that stuff better than your
Right.
customers. So
Right.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about, I guess, different ways that you feel like this is going to elevate you. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is like no other contractor is going to have a book, so if
Yeah.
somebody's comparing to, but um yeah, I guess what are some of the marketing benefits that you think you'll get out of this?
Well, of course, there's the whole ego thing. It's great to say I'm an author.
Yeah, published
Yeah.
author. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's great. You can't take yourself too seriously. Marketing, I think any business um, needs to be a marketing company first, or and bring people on along with bringing people on, but their focus needs to be marketing, and especially in contracting. I think it's the last thing people realize. A contractor can really start out and get word of mouth to keep themselves busy, that one guy in a truck. But the minute they start bringing on people is the minute they're going to realize they don't have enough time. I mean, I was there, I was networking every day and every night for, the Chamber of Commerce and BNI and all that stuff. You cannot have you don't have enough time in the day to build a big enough reach. You need to be marketing. So more of a tout to you guys, everybody needs you guys. And they need to be marketing focused, because especially now, you see a lot of contractors are falling behind because they're still on the flip phone and they're still climbing the ladder. And it's like, if you're not on social media and online, you just don't exist. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, your neighbor and your aunt are still going to call you, but it's, eventually that dries up. So
Yeah,
um
you got limited reach for sure.
exactly. So it's, I think, with the book, it does bring credibility. I think it's a little bit better than offering maybe a free handout, or but I think it shows dedication. I think it shows that, I'm serious, or anybody that writes a book, that they're serious and they're passionate about um what they wrote about. I mean, it does take time, like you said.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, I think it really there's something to be said for just that, like people seeing you as the expert,
yeah.
they, especially in this industry where you're kind of looking at an industry that's all over the board, like you said earlier, with quality and standards and expectations. And so if you come in, you meet with somebody, you drop off a book, you've wrote the book literally on how to do this, and then they meet with one or two other companies, they're kind of like, yeah, we're going to go with the
Right.
company that you just look more official. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I love it. And yeah, I think there's lots of creative ways to do it. You can drop it off, connect with realtors, connect with architects, connect with lender. Like you literally can just, get this thing out there. And like you said, it's not like you're trying to sell a million copies. You're trying
Right.
to use
Yeah.
it for marketing and,
Yeah.
um,
And the
well,
main
we'll
thing would and the main thing would be to create that funnel, right? Like you
you
want
got
to
it.
offer it to get that email address, and
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, we should chat for a few minutes about like your launch strategy after we wrap, because
yeah, for sure.
we'll get you on some bestseller lists. So
Love it. Love it.
um, well, cool. Well, David, anything else that you feel like you want to share before we head into the last segment of our our show here.
No, I'm very honored to be on. I would say to anybody that is second guessing themselves, like you got to believe in it because it's if you work at it, you get there. It's pretty. Life can be really amazing if you choose it to be. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, David, you know the drill. We have a last segment of our show. We call it the Fast Five. So I'll hit you with 5 rapid fire questions. Say whatever comes to mind. And first question is your favorite business book and why? And you cannot pick your own book.
The best, I mean, I know this question's coming and it's I'm trying to think of, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Hmm,
It just started it there. Like, and I've read tons of other books from that, but it just, I don't know, it was so just broken down to like that elementary level. I've read some really good business books since then. But that I think just started the interest. So,
yeah.
you know,
It's funny you say that because I like right when I got out of college, I was working part time, starting a side hustle, and every night, or not every night, but typically once a week, I'd head down to the Barnes and Noble, and I would just go through like the business and real estate and all that. And I feel like Rich Dad Poor Dad was just like one of the first like 3 that I ended up
yeah,
buying and picking up, and then it just sets you down this path of like, oh, leadership, investing, like
yeah.
marketing, sale, like all the stuff. So, yeah. All right. Next question is who is the most inspirational person in your life?
I'll say my brother-in-law, who actually, and he lives up in Canada, so I don't spend a lot of time with him. He was a very pivotal part of me being able to see success. The only person that I know that was somewhat relatively successful. He said that he basically showed me just in actions what he was, what it was possible. Um, and my father was a very hard worker. I want to give him some credit on this too. He really showed me how to work.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. All right. If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
Ooh. Um, Superpower. Everybody thinks flying and seeing through things. I don't know. I think this sounds crazy. And this just comes to mind. I think to be able to bring some peace to the world, if that could be a superpower. I think people are, it's tough out there.
We could use some of that right now.
Yeah.
That's a good
Sounds
choice.
a little cliche. I'm gonna definitely
Yeah.
regret that one, but
And
that came to
world
mind.
peace. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta,
Don't
I
worry.
gotta,
We'll clip
yeah,
this and we'll get
yeah.
it on social.
We'll, we'll put some, we'll put something else in there.
Yeah, David's superpower. He wants world peace. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Describe yourself in 3 words.
I'm dedicated, driven, and I'm a hard worker. And I think, yeah, I got 3.
Those are good. All right. Final question is if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would that be?
Um, I would say be kind, and not to other people, be kind to yourself. I think that's the worst. When you're able to actually, you know, like yourself and be kind to yourself, you can be kind to other people. And it all starts with you. If you want to go anywhere in this world and in this life, it starts with you. You want to build a big business and make millions of dollars, well, you got to figure stuff out. You got to figure you out first. So in that business book, grab that self-help book on the other aisle and read about figuring out how to manage yourself and the emotions and be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Great advice. And David, congrats on the book and thanks for joining me today. This was awesome.
Spencer, it was awesome. It was a pleasure. I appreciate it.